What's back here? Tattered diary. This I really am going to read. This is more fun. An unusually eventful day today. I stumbled across an unusual find whilst out hunting for deer in the remote wilderness. Stalking a wild deer to a clearing, you can only imagine my surprise to find a house. Old and seemingly abandoned. That sounds like what we did. We found a house. But we were just knocked out. We weren't hunting for deer whilst in the wilderness. But still standing strong. An interesting find. One that certainly has me curious. May 25th, 1997. The date is important. Remember the date. Just the 1997 part. 1 second. Gotta take a deep breath. Upon my investigation to the city archives earlier this morning, it appears that the house has been abandoned for almost 10 years and currently resides under the control of the local government. I feel that its location must be too remote for them to be able to tear it down. But I must admit that I feel drawn back to that house, mostly out of curiosity. But I cannot deny that there is something else at the place that has me yearning to return. May 28th. I could not put it off any longer. I called in sick to the office today and decided I would retrace my steps into the wilderness to once again find the house which had been foremost on my mind of late. It didn't take much to find it again, as it was almost like I was being guided back to the exact spot where I found it some 4 days ago. Once I plucked up enough courage, I pushed open the unlocked front door. Admittedly, I was very surprised at the ease of which the door opened, considering the hinge had probably built up a good 10 years' worth of rust. To my relative astonishment, the place was still furnished, although very dirty and completely run down. I was and still am amazed at the state of the place, considering that it had been very empty for so long. I decided that I would explore the house and not disturb anything. My fear had not subsided. As a matter of fact, it is still with me as I record this journal some hours later. My curiosity took me through the kitchen, bedroom, and lounge room before a thumping noise from the roof on the second level startled me so much that I ran straight out of the front door and back through the forest to my automobile. As it was, I almost fell off a small ledge in the thicket below. I felt like a complete fool being scared off by rats, which I assumed they were. No, it was that dead torso guy. Remember? Dead torso guy. You can't tell me you didn't see dead torso guy. He's like right there. It's not like he's going anywhere. He's dead torso guy. May 29th. I had a nightmare last night. All I can remember is the blood and the frightened screams surrounding me. And the house was in my nightmare too. Oh. Well, generally nightmares take place in a place, and sure, they could be in a house. Nothing tells us it's this house. This house is perfectly normal. Except when the skeleton jumped out of the hallway. I called in sick to work once again so that I can venture into the wilderness and explore the abandoned house once more. Why? This is why I don't feel bad for people in horror movies who get, owned. It's because they're just so stupid. The moment I saw this house, would have been like, oh, no, doesn't sit well with me, no, sir. And then it's left. You know? Not surprisingly, I found the structure with relative ease as I did yesterday. However, I was startled when I noticed that the front door was closed. It was closed, everyone, it was closed. I am certain that when I left in such a hurry the other day, that the door had been left ajar in any case. In any case, I eventually attributed the closed door to the wind, as I was clearly the only person who had been in the old house recently. Or was he? I repeatedly scoured through the house for anything interesting, heading back through previous visited rooms. Once again, as I passed through the hallway outside the main bedroom on the second level, I heard heavy thumping coming from the roof. I was instantly very tempted to repeat yesterday's dash from the house, but I swallowed my fear and continued on with the exploration. In the limited time that I had before dusk, unfortunately, I did not uncover anything that would help me explain the mysterious disappearance of the most recent tenants. May 31st. I sit here in the lounge room of the old house by candlelight recording this journal and events that have transpired today. Although I am scared to within an inch of my life, I am bound to this house, and I feel that I do not have the strength or... Alright, let's guess. It'll be... Motsy. Resolve. No, Motsy would have been so much better. To run back to my automobile at such an advanced hour. As I have for the past week, I returned to this house with the intent of uncovering anything that could help answer the question of its missing tenant. I failed to uncover anything that could help the cause, but what I did find seemed far more precious and disturbing than anything I could have hoped for. While I was scouring the library for any misplaced photos or letters, I almost tripped over a leather-bound book sitting in the middle of the dusty floor. I was certainly miffed as to how I missed it in my movements through the house over the past 3 days. Picking up the book, I felt a slight empowerment rush through me. The distant sound of wind began to sound like whispers, and the room which I was standing in seemed to darken. I wondered what knowledge the scribe had passed down the ages for me. Enchanted by the aging literature, I retreated back into the lounge room, settled down on one of the most comfortable chairs, and continued to read through the contents of the book. Written in what seemed to be a red ink of some sort. Hang on, that's not red ink. It's fruit juice. And a lot of the content didn't initially make sense to me, as the majority of it is written in a language that is foreign to me. But in the back of the book, there were abridged translation by Mr. Xavier Rehaim from 1890. Remember that name? Indeed. The majority of what I could understand seemed rather jumbled and nonsensical. Rather disappointed, I closed the book and relieved myself of its burden. Things from this point became rather blurred and frighteningly surreal. Hang on. Things got worse after we read the book? After he read the book? We read the book, though. Does that mean things are going to get frighteningly surreal and become rather blurred? Well, perhaps. I mean, I haven't put the book down yet. I can't really see what's going on. I mean, I could be, like, floating through the cosmos, all these zombies around me going, like, you're gonna die! And I'd be like, oh god, zombies! But I'm reading a book, so, you know, you're always safe in a book. Take a look, it's in our book, The Reading Rainbow! Oh, The Reading Rainbow was so badass. So much reading in that rainbow. And the spaceship, man, the spaceship they went on, or that adventure in the Reading Rainbow. Oh, man, that was intense. Oh, man, I'm probably going to cut off the recording here. Well, no, finish the page. The sound of distant forest animals stopped me, as if all life paused, waiting for my next move. The wind outside stopped pounding against the shuttered windows, and the candle winked out of existence, leaving me in almost pitch-black conditions. I listened closely. On all that I could hear... I'm gonna screw you over by stopping right here. Find out what was all he could hear next episode. Goodbye.